Good morning, everybody. Heiden here. I'm sitting here in my office drinking coffee, getting ready for my trip, and I get an ominous email from Lodrik stating something to the effect of burning steel. So I just can't leave this alone. I have to watch it, and I want you to watch it with me. We may have gotten our Battle of Java Sea that we've been looking for. Let's find out. Okay, so we're in it. Oh, that wasn't supposed to happen. Okay, so it appears that we were on the surface with this submarine here. Yeah, okay, this is the damaged submarine that was trying to retreat out of the area of Saigon. I think it was too damaged to surface to go down, to go into water. So this sub is complete goner. It's being hit by 5-inch guns on the surface. This thing's finished. I knew I should have navigated that thing away. Yeah, we lost the Dutch sub, and it was repairing. I maybe I could have steered it away, but because it was crippled, I couldn't really, you know, move a lot of hexes per turn. So we lose that sub. It's a shame. Got some minesweeping action there. 019 wasting subs on the destroyer minesweeper. Waste of good 4 torpedoes. I want these guys to engage larger targets than that. And on the flip side, his subs are doing the same thing. This is north of Pearl Harbor. 2 torpedoes wasted. And these are destroyers suppressing his subs. An interesting comment about the Ralph Talbot temporary flooding repairs. I wasn't aware that it was. I wasn't aware that it was sinking. Hmm. Oh well. And again, he wastes torpedoes on us attacking the destroyer. Two more torpedoes wasted. Keep it a coming. Every torpedo shot at a destroyer is one that's not shot at a bigger ship. You may notice that this is a destroyer minesweeper doing anti-submarine work. I know it's not ideal, but I need anything that floats that's got depth charge racks out to sea, keeping his subs at bay. The way I see it, every time he shoots torpedoes at these small ships, it's great for me. There's a finite amount of torpedoes, right? Oh, here it is. This is the Battle of Java's, well, the Makassar Strait, if you will. Let's watch this. The Nagato and the Mutsu. I didn't see these guys coming. Right off the bat, we're getting good hits here. Oh my goodness. We're really raking it in. This wasn't exactly the battle I was hoping for. I was expecting the Hiryu to be involved, but I'll take this. If we can suppress these battleships, this would be great. And we have a lot of. We have basically what I did was I sent single every single ship that I had that was floating and not in a dry dock out after these guys. So every Dutch sub, every British sub, every single American destroyer that I had, I sent it. Houston being the most valuable ship in this fleet. Um, I understood that I might lose it, but I had to do something to challenge his supremacy in the Makassar Strait and Java Sea, because he completely was cutting off my exit route from the Philippines by being there. So we take a pretty damaging hit on the Dragon, but we're still dealing it out to the Mutsu. I'm hoping with all these destroyers we have in play here that we get some torpedo hits. De Reuter takes a hit. Another hit on De Reuter. And Houston's doing a great job bobbing and weaving. Okay, it looks like Durban took a direct hit from the Mutsu. That's obviously going to be pretty bad because that's a 16-inch gun. But we continue to pour it on to the Mutsu. All right, so De Reuter takes a direct hit from a 16-inch shell. A second hit. That might be pretty bad. So we get a hit on the Mikazuki. Come on, torpedoes. Find a target. All right, so the range is increasing now, so I'm wondering if these guys are trying to break contact here. Ugh. That's a 16-inch shell into the Houston now. Where is the Hiryu? That's what I want to know. Trump gets hit by a 140 millimeter gun, probably secondary from the Nagato. All right, De Reuter takes another 16-inch shell. That that could be fatal, and another one. That's probably going down. Now one of our Clemsons takes a bad hit. We need to get some more hits here. There goes the De Reuter. Dang it. We need to start doing some more damage here. Where are all the torpedoes at? Hmm. I don't know how many more hits these light cruisers can take like this. Alright, we get another hit on one of his destroyers. It doesn't look like it does much damage, though. Another one on the Mikazuki. Alright, that's a good hit. Suzukaze takes a good hit. And in return, the Alden takes a hit. Houston gets hit again, but that's a 5-inch gun. One of our Dutch subs gets a hit, takes a hit, and another one. Yeah, we're getting a lot of 6-inch hits on his ships, but I don't think we're getting through the armor. Whereas his 16-inch guns are just ripping through our armor. I would like this battle to end now. I'm ready for this battle to end. It's not going well. Yeah. This can be over anytime soon. And we get a little bit of hits on the Nagato, but it's not enough. We just don't have any heavy guns here, just the Houston. I want to know where the Hiryu's at. He must have split it off. I was expecting to encounter the Hiryu in this task force. Oh man, stop closing range. Get out of there. We are faster than his ships. We can get out of here. Alright, so we're getting some fire on the Nagato, but we're not getting through the armor. Man, that thing is tanking it. Mutsu's must have been hit 20 times already, at least, by various caliber shells, but it's not doing enough damage. Come on, guys, increase that range. Get out of there. Break contact. Another hit. Another hit to the Mutsu. We're not penetrating the armor. Finally, it looks like we have a sign of fire on the Nagato, but I think the Houston's taking more damage than we're giving out. Alright, we're opening up the range even more. Hopefully that's going to allow us to get out of there. Okay, another good hit on the Mutsu. I hope we can salvage some of these ships here. I think a couple of these light cruisers might be done for. Hopefully the Houston can survive as well. I really need that ship. These smaller destroyers aren't as critical to me, but these big ships are. I had no indication that the Nagato and the Mutsu were in this area. I hadn't previously seen them at all. I knew the Hiryu was there, but it's not here now. So he must have split them off during the last turn. And hopefully he's sending it home so we can get a break. But in the meantime, we need to get these guys out of here to open up the Makassar Strait to continue our retreat. Man, I don't think we've got a single light cruiser that hasn't been heavily damaged so far. Alright, so we had a call for the magazine to be flooded on one of our light cruisers because that's how bad the damage is getting. And they still continue to close the range. Golly. Break contact, guys. That's enough. Ugh. That's going to be bad. Houston takes another 16-inch shell. Well, I'm looking through the smoke and flames here, and I see that the Java is still up and running. It does not appear to be damaged at all, which is amazing to me. Okay, we get a hit on the Umikaze. Okay, well, looks like we just lost our smoke indication here. Had something pop up in a window here, and it messed with my animations. So sorry about that. Just know that basically everything here is burning, and most of the stuff over here is burning. Alright, so we get some damage on his... Basically every one of his destroyers has been touched now. Okay, so we get another hit on the Mikazuki. That's going to be pretty heavily damaged at this point. DeWitt takes a hit. Man, they continue to close the range. I don't understand this. Now, I did choose a very aggressive commander for this task force. But I thought that even then, the commander would be smart enough to know when it's time to break contact. And to me, closing on two 16-inch battleships is not a good time to be that aggressive. So maybe in hindsight, I should have picked a commander that was not quite as aggressive as that. Well, I'm still learning this stuff, so I mean, there's got to be a fine balance here, but I think this commander is just a little too much. Nothing good can come from closing the range with two of these battleships. Basically his two strongest battleships that he's got before the Yamatos come onto the scene, assuming he even builds those. If I were in Houston, I would have seen those two coming. I would have been like, nope. No thanks. But we're doing this. Okay. So it looks like the Japanese task force commander has ordered a disengagement, which is good for us. We need to break contact now. Most of our ships have taken damage here. So at this point, I would like to be done with this battle. The Mutsu's been peppered 20, 30 plus shell hits. But unfortunately, all I have are the maximum size here is an 8-inch gun. So I don't know how much damage that's going to do to a Mutsu. It doesn't appear that it's going to be enough. If it sends it back to Japan for a while, I'll take that. But I don't know if it's going to be worth the amount of ships we might lose here as a result of this damage. Again, the Houston takes yet another 16-inch gun hit. I'm not entirely sure how many it can take, but I'm thinking it's probably at or past that limit by now. Oh! Oh. That's what I was hoping to avoid. So we just lost to Houston. Dang it. Dang it. I'll have to decide later on if it was worth the trade. Losing the De Ruyter to Houston and maybe a couple of these light cruisers in exchange for damaging the Nagato and the Mutsu. I mean, it'll be hard to determine if we damaged them enough to send them back home, or if they're still going to be able to stay on the scene, because we can't now. And my main objective was to pin down and destroy the Hiryu, and I don't even see it. So, to me, we're not meeting the objectives of this task force by this type of engagement here. This should be about over now. These guys are almost out of range. One good thing about this is that the Nagato and the Mutsu are going to have to go and rearm. And there's not a lot of places that they can do that. Ooh.
This is your favorite enemy, Orphan Anne, at Radio Tokyo.
Look at
with
this.
Music to lift your spirit
42 shell hits on the Mutsu.
To depress your morale. But first, Imperial General Headquarters announced today that
Man, she's loud.
The Imperial Navy has achieved another great victory near Balikpapan, with the sinking of 2 carriers, a battleship, and numerous cruisers and destroyers.
Well, other than the battleship, she's absolutely right. I would say that was definitely in favor of the Japanese. Now, we've done a lot of damage to the Mutsu, but I don't know how bad that's going to be long term. His destroyers did not get out of there unscathed, so most of these are probably going to have to head back for repairs. In trade, we lose to Houston and the De Ruyter, and I'm sure a couple of these light cruisers may not make it back as well. A lot of destroyers take minor damage here, but we'll probably be able to save most of these. But what I really needed to save was the Houston, and it didn't make it. I have no idea what the long-term implications of this are going to be, so I'll be interested to see. So that was the Battle of the Makassar Strait. I really hope that at a minimum we're able to turn back his task force so we can get out of there. Let's continue. More ASW work. That's good. Where is the Hiryu? Wow, look at that. He's right there off of Balikpapan. There's no way he's invading right now. No. And of course the weather. I needed better weather than that. All right, so he sweeps over Clarkville, but again, we have nothing there to put up. Little fighter sweep action over Johor. I'm sure this won't go well for us, but let's try it anyway. That's 2 down so far. Alright, well, this is just a fighter sweep, so I'm not going to waste time watching this. I already know how it's going to go. Very poorly. So we lose 4 buffaloes. No losses for him. And he comes in with another set of Oscars, which I'm sure will do a ton of damage to these buffaloes. We lose another buffalo for no loss for him. He's sweeping over Clark again, but again, there's nothing there. Nothing there. Yep, he shot down everything already. Oh, what's up, Sally's? I decided to put up a couple of these I-15s because I just got tired of him being completely unopposed in this area. So I know these aren't exactly the best aircraft, but it's all I got right now. A token defense. So we damaged 3 of his Sallies. It does not prevent the ground attack, but, you know, we did something there. Ground forces that are retreating out this way. Minor losses there. Now, these should be a little more effective. I brought these up as well, just in the hope of doing something to his aircraft here. But unfortunately, I think these aircraft are just a little too slow. Well, again, no kills. But hopefully it disrupted the bombers enough to prevent a lot of damage on this installation. Alright, so we damaged 1 bomber. Light casualties on the ground. Again, these are just harassing attacks by his aircraft on my retreating troops from eastern China. He's softening up Victoria Point for an attack. So we have 1 Hawk that gets up here to try to do something against these Idas. It'd be awesome if we can kill at least 1 of these, right? Nope. Don't think so. Minor damage on the ground. Alright, so it appears that we've spotted another one of his carrier aircraft. He's pulled it into the port here. Somewhere that we just can't hurt it. There's no way I'll be able to get anything into here to stop this. And we don't get in. But, so we know that Ryujo is still up and running. Well, we don't know that. We know that his Ryujo aircraft section is still alive. I don't know if that means that the carrier itself is still alive. So we're going to have to do some intel gathering here and determine if this is the Ryujo still up and running, or if this is his unit that he transferred to another base. It seems unlikely that we're going to get through this cap. Oh, we do get something in there. So it's the Tayo. Alright, so that's the Tayo that's there. So what I'm thinking is that he's moved this Ryujo aircraft section onto the Tayo because the Ryujo had to go back for repairs. So we know the Tayo is over here in this bay. Oh, well, this is a maximum effort attack that I launched at his troops at Johor, and it appears that we got through because he already used his aircraft earlier. I don't think we did much damage at all, but you know, maybe it disrupted him a little bit. This is basically everything I've got. I'm surprised we do no damage to him with the weather being pretty good. Again, if it disrupts his troops, that's good. So, there's the Hiryu. It's got to be the Hiryu. Yep, he split the Hiryu off, so he sent the oh man. Okay, so he sent the Hiryu down there, and he sent the surface combatants towards Balikpapan, and we missed the Hiryu, which is here, and we engaged surface ships. Wow. All right, so we take one bomb on the Durban rather, and at least we destroy some of his aircraft. At least we know now where the Hiryu's at, right? Uh-oh. What? Wait, what? Where was the... Well, that's... Where did all my P-40s go? Oh. Oh, man. It appears that my ships are split into two task forces, okay? One's trying to get into Balikpapan and the other one's trying to head back to Surabaya. Oh, gosh. I don't... There we go. Let's get some retribution here. Come on, guys. So these are P-40s that I moved out of the Philippines, and I sent them to Balikpapan to protect my ships down here. And, you know, we get one cape, but it's not worth the trade of losing the Danny. Oh, boy. Oh, here we go. What is that? Where's my P-40s at? I had 14 of them up in the air, and they missed this intercept. How did they miss that intercept? I don't understand how they missed that. Maybe I had them too high? Wow, what a miss. They better do something here. They keep missing this. I don't really understand how that's happening here. The P-40s do absolutely nothing here. And he just gets to have a field day on my ships. I had the air cover in place, and they didn't intercept any of that. Boy, this was a bad day. There goes the Electra. This was a really bad day. Yeah, this did not go as I had planned at all. That might be it for our surface combat power in the Dutch East Indies for a while. And now he's got those carriers just out of reach doing damage to us, and we have no answer for them at all. And he's got the Makassar Strait completely blocked in. There is no way out of there. He's going to leave those carriers in place and just kind of like surround it so that any ship I try to move in and out of there is going to get taken out. He's even using Mavises to bomb. It appears that he's going to be attacking Georgetown next because he's hitting us pretty hard here. All it is a single static unit. See that? he swept us over Kukong with his Tojos, thinking that we were still there. But I moved the P40s out of there because I knew that he'd get wise to us and come after us with these. And this is the never-ending. This is the never-ending cap, and we don't manage to get through. I don't understand. His cap just gets to stay up all day, but my P40s at Balikpapan don't get to do anything. So we do get through it. Hopefully we can get some damage done here. Zuiho. Hosho. Zuiho and Hosho now. So he's moving even more aircraft carriers into here. So we have the Zuiho and the Shoho and the Taiyo over here in Donga area. So that's even more than we had before. I don't recall seeing these all before. So our prospects for getting out of the Makassar Strait are even more dim than ever because these are fresh aircraft carriers that weren't really engaged before. Dang. I won't have an answer for those at all. We'll be lucky if any ships get out of there at this point. Yeah, he's just got endless combat power. So we do manage to avoid this attack. Oh, please, guys. Nothing. I just don't understand why the... I'm not understanding why the P40s aren't engaging here. I don't understand it. It's got to be... Someone who knows this game better, help me understand this. Why am I missing these intercepts? Is it because their altitude's too high? Watch, we're going to miss this one too. Oh, maybe not. Okay, here we go. Finally. Finally. Finally, here we go. We get something done. He has to pay for this. It just took like 7 intercepts for these P40s to finally make contact with his aircraft. So he loses at least 2 to 3 Kates there, but we take another bomb hit. Wow, this turn is a disaster. We're still in air and surface combat stuff right now. This is a long turn. So the I-21 wastes some more torpedoes. And another, look at this. He's landing another assault on the ball. I think he's going to take it this time. I think he's getting frustrated that he hasn't taken it yet. Alright, so it looks like a lot of destroyers. This is a... Wow, look at that. So maybe I should... we would have been here all day watching this combat replay, but our shore-based batteries get 3 hits on the Kashima. But this is a massive, massive fleet here. This is a significant amount of surface combat firepower. We take a lot of casualties. I think the Lark Battalion might have met their match here this time around. And now he's landing at Brunei. And this will be basically unopposed because we've got nothing there. He takes some casualties, but it's not going to slow him down at all. All right, let's see what kind of disasters befall us on the ground this time. All right, so this is that road junction that I was trying to get away from here. He's coming in with a division and a mixed brigade. And we take a lot of damage here, of course. Of course, they picked the absolute worst direction to retreat into. So we do a little bit of damage to him, but nothing like what he does to us. Look at these losses. And he's coming at us at south, so I'm hoping we can hold here because this is really good terrain for us. And he takes it anyway. We should have been able to hold there. Oh man, we take huge casualties. He takes almost nothing. Here's the attack on Johor Bahru that we were expecting. It does appear to be rather light. A couple infantry regiments and some light naval guard units. It'll be a crapshoot if we hold here. And we do, but it won't be for long. So he takes more casualties than us, but that's just a matter of time before he brings in heavier units to finish us off. And Malacca goes down. Man, what a shame. All right, there is no way we're going to win this time. He's come in with a significant amount of more troops on that last amphibious assault. So this is definitely going to fall. All right. No, we do inflict some casualties. Right, Rabal fell. Note the date. What is this, the 14th or the 15th? The 14th of December, he already has Rabal in hand. Things are... The timeline on Port Moresby is rapidly advancing. It's a race. It's a race against time for us to get that situated. Yeah, I gotta say this was a bad turn for us. I did not expect the Mutsu and the Nagato to be in the Makassar Strait. I'll be going over the intel report as soon as I can, and I'll give you all the details of my analysis of the situation once I see that. But it may be in a few days from when I'm actually recording this, because I'm heading off for vacation. Actually heading up to where Strategy Gaming Dojo lives, but I don't think I'll be able to see him. I think he's pretty busy with this new kid. But yeah, I'll be out of town for a few days, but as soon as I'm back, I'll review the actual turn that Lodrik sends me, and we'll be able to analyze exactly what all happened. This was rough. All right, guys, I'm back. It's been a few days for me. I've been on vacation up in Central California, but I'm ready to diagnose and analyze what occurred in this turn. Hope you guys hear the trumpets playing dimly in the background. They're playing a very solemn song for all the sailors that we lost in the Makassar Strait. So we had our big sea battle here. Did not go according to plan. I had anticipated intercepting the Hiryu around here, but instead we ran into 2 Nagato-class battleships instead, with Lodrik having split his Hiryu off down over here. So instead of me finding a nice soft target, I found 2 of his frontline battleships, and what occurred was a complete slaughter. We lost quite a few ships, big ships, important ships, and to our knowledge, we sunk none of his, although basically every one of his ships, which included 4 destroyers and 2 battleships, did take some form of damage. We have no way of knowing how critical any of that damage is. So let's just go ahead and get right into the intel report. We'll start with aircraft lost. We had a bad day. in the air. Our buffaloes got shot down like flies in the air trying to defend. I believe that was up in Singapore area. These 139s, against my better judgment, I elected to use them for low-level ship attack. And, of course, they ran into non-stop cap everywhere they went. Some of them did get through, but none of them hit anything. So, again, we throw away 6 more aircraft for nothing. He does lose 5 Kates, and that was after the P-40s I moved to Balikpapan decided to actually do something and intercept. They missed maybe 5 or 6 intercepts, and I don't know exactly why. Maybe it was because I had their altitude too high and everything was coming in too low. I don't know. But the P-40s repeatedly missed intercepts when they had repeated waves of enemy aircraft that were not defended. It could have been a slaughter, and it wasn't. So we only managed to shoot down 4 Kates, and 1 more doesn't make it back. And the rest of his losses basically amount to ops losses. So in all, we lost 23 aircraft to his 12. Not a good showing. Looking at the top pilots, 3 missing in action, 7 wounded, and 3 KAA. When you consider it, that's actually not that bad. Could have been a lot worse for us in the air as far as pilot losses, but still, they're just not. They just weren't performing the way I had expected. Now on to something a lot more solemn. Our ship losses here. We lose to Houston in glorious combat. The De Ruyter and the Danny, as well as the British destroyer Electra, sunk by the follow-up air attacks, which I will explain in a minute. We lose the Dutch sub and also another one of our small Philippines-based cargo ships, again by air attack. So the other thing that happened during this turn was that we spotted more enemy carriers other than the Hiryu. So in this task force here, which he snuck in and I never saw it coming at all, we spotted the Ryujo. No, I'm sorry, not the Ryujo, but it's planes. We spotted the Zuiho, the Taiyo, and the Shoho. So he has 3 additional light carriers in this bay here, in addition to the Hiryu there. And right now what they're doing is creating a complete and utter bottleneck in the Makassar Strait, which is my escape route from the Philippines. So he's got us completely boxed in now. This is the task force that we attacked and damaged. I think it's combat ineffective now and will find its way out to Japan or wherever he wants to repair them. So I'm not overly concerned about the combat effectiveness of this unit, but these carriers being here completely block off my escape route out of here. So I have no good answer for these things. It's going to be a huge issue for me going forward. So in addition to the ships we lost, which I'll show you again last turn, the ships we lost, these 4 right off the bat, we have a significant number of damaged ships that are also at risk. These 2 destroyers are basically going to sink. If he doesn't finish them off first, they will go down on their own. We have this ship, which is now out of fuel. It won't sink on its own, but because it's basically out of fuel, it won't make it to Surabaya. So his carrier aircraft will pick this off and it will be destroyed. We have this leftover unit from the battle, all in various stages of damage or whatnot. They have a chance of making it back to Surabaya, possibly, if they don't get intercepted in the air. So we may be able to save these ships. But again, if he moves his aircraft carriers closer to Surabaya and elects to attack us again, we're going to lose more ships because I just have no my fighters are completely ineffective. I have no proper attack aircraft, and I have no naval forces left that have any chance of doing anything to his carriers. So we stand to lose more ships here. Oh man. So yeah, this battle went terribly. Now let's take a look at some other places here that aren't as bad. In the Philippines, either by mistake or on purpose, he did not attack us at Clark Field, which is actually a good thing because we're again adding fortifications to it. And this is the key to my defense of Luzon, is Clark Field. Again, Because of the terrain, it's a ×3 multiplier, whereas Baton is ×2. So I've moved everything that's able to be moved into Clark Field, and we will continue to build this up and make our stand there. Our assault value continues to increase every turn because I have units that are repairing, rebuilding, replacing. So every day that he does not attack us here makes it that much harder for him to get us out of Clark Field later on. So hopefully we get a few more days of respite from his air attacks so that we can actually build up the fortification here and make a strong defense. This is a sizable force, and we have a lot of vehicles here, guns, everything that we need. So I'm hoping that this buys us some time in Philippines defending our Clark Field. Also noteworthy is we may be able to get a few more subs out of the harbor here before it's too late. The S-38 is going to be seaworthy here in a day. The rest of these, I don't know. I with that kind of flotation damage, the only ones that have any hope of maybe surviving and getting out of here are those that have flotation damage like this. But it's impossible to know exactly if they're going to come up and repair themselves sufficiently for me to get them out of there in time. So I'm planning on all of these being sunk in harbor at some point. But if I can get a couple more out, I'll be happy with that. We continue to consolidate in Mindanao. Nothing exciting going on here. But Cagayan will be the key to our defense down here. Brunei will fall next turn. We actually hold at Johor Bahru, but that won't be for long because this is a strong force here. But this is all he actually has that's within striking distance of attacking us. So I don't think this force here is necessarily enough to take on Singapore. Even though we don't have a lot of troops here, it is still a ×2 multiplier grid, and we are building fortifications. So this force may or may not be enough to dislodge us from Philippines. I'm sorry, Singapore, at least right away. So I'm hoping we can continue to fortify and get more troops in there. Malacca did fall. I had almost nothing defending it. But that really doesn't change anything for us at this point because we can't do anything anyway with this. This road was already cut, so us losing this changes nothing. So I'm not overly concerned about that. He is making the attack down from Alistar, so these will fall soon. But this unit will take quite a bit of time to get down here because they're going to have to walk all the way. They're not going to be able to use the rail lines because we own Kuala Lumpur, so he'll have to come up this way to get it. So actually, it may be worthwhile to put some more troops in Kuala Lumpur and hold that for a while because it slows down his advance south. I didn't think of that before, but I thought about it now. So I think we're going to consolidate there as well and just act as a blocking force and delay this force from getting more reinforcements to take Singapore. Whether or not they could do it on their own right now, I don't know. Things over here are doing fine. We continue to build up Rangoon, Mole Mine. Again, it's only the 15th of December, but I'd say we're doing as good as we possibly can in that area. Down here in the Solomon Sea, again we're up against the clock. Rabaul just fell this turn. I'm trying to build up Port Moresby, but with him being so aggressive and spreading out so wide, it's a race against time for me to get enough troops into Port Moresby to mount a good defense. We lost track of that carrier task force that was over here, north of Tarawa. So I have no idea where they're at now. My guesses are kind of in this area and continuing to come this way. I would hope that he needs to go to truck first to fuel up and rearm before he comes down to Port Moresby area. But who knows? I have no idea what he's planning or what he's doing. So I'm counting the days until that force gets into within striking distance of the ships coming in and out of Port Moresby, in which case I will have to withdraw all the ships and rush out of there because I'm not just going to let him kill all of these task forces here unopposed. So the second I get a glimpse of his carriers and I get an idea of what direction they're coming in, any ships that aren't already in Port Moresby are going to get turned around And everything else I got going there is not even going to bother making the trip because I just have nothing there that can stop even one of his carriers at this point. So I'm hoping we can hold out Port Moresby a little bit longer, but it's just hard to say. Let me think if there's anything else you guys need to see. Nothing exciting happening in Hawaii right now, so we don't even need to go look at that. Yeah, so basically this is where in closing, we have a dire situation in Borneo, Celebes, and Java with 4 Japanese carriers threatening all of my shipping, trying to retreat from the area. I don't have a good answer for it. I'm going to keep looking for solutions here, but I just don't have a lot. My big battle went really badly, but we had to try something because he was just running amok over here, and I needed to send him a message that he couldn't do that. And unfortunately, he pulled a fast one on me and split the carriers apart, almost like he knew I was going to do it. And I ran into his 2 biggest and best battleships that he has on the entire map right here where I sent my ships. So that went very badly. Keep your fingers crossed so we can rescue at least some of these ships out of there and preserve a little bit of fighting force for eventual further on invasions. But I feel like I compromised myself a lot here in the Dutch East Indies with that attack. But again, I had to try something, and my intel at the time suggested that that was a good move to make. In hindsight, it was not, but I gotta do something. Oh, one last thing I want to do now that I'm realizing that I have it is review the signals intelligence. The SIGINT reports. As a Japanese player, these reports are basically garbage. They tell you nothing that's of any value. But for the Allied player, there's actually a lot of good information here. All right, so we have ideas of what's at different places, right? We know that he's moving units around. So Patani is in northern Malaya. So he loaded this unit and they're moving into Malaya. This gives us some information about different units that are in China. We also know that he's got a base force moving the truck. Something big going on at Tokyo, which is probably a big convoy. And we also know that he has additional reinforcements moving to Lingayen, which is north of Clark Field in the Philippines. So this is good information. I'm sure there's even more good information as the weeks go on. So I'll be reviewing this with you guys every turn briefly at the end just to see if we can gather anything good. Maybe you guys can spot something more important out of here than I can. So if you see something noteworthy, point it out to me. All right, I think that's it for now. I'll work on this turn tonight, try to get it back to Lodrik as I try to pick up the pieces here in the Dutch East Indies. And while we think of another disaster to send our ships on. All right, thanks, guys.